Hey, it's DJ Studs with Little Hearts Academy and Imperfect Heroes podcast. And it's 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. So where else would I be but here with you? Gosh, my hair. I've been running around with my grandson all day, which has been such a joy. Not up on the mountain anymore. We're down in Salt Lake visiting my son, who is my favorite police officer. And we're going to be staying with him for a couple of months, but while we're finishing the house. So a couple of months with my daughter, a couple of months with my son. We'll see how much longer it all lasts. But before I get going on today's topic, I wanted to let everybody know that this only happens 3 times a year, but the registration is open for Sister-Owned Society. So that's my group coaching. There are 4 modules that you will get, and you can just watch them at your leisure. There's about 5 or 6 lessons in each module as we talk about expectations for school, what's age appropriate, and then you're going to get 4 group coaching sessions. We'll do it on Zoom, and so you can attend all 4. If that doesn't work for you, that's fine. We're going to be recording them, and you can watch them later. The only difference is if that's the choice that you make, which is a fine choice, you just aren't able to connect and engage with the other parents that are there. But that's okay. We'll work it all out for you. And it's open only until the 18th. So it opened yesterday on the 8th. We go for 10 days on the 18th. And then it's closed again for another 4 months. And so it'll be November before it opens up again. So I hope that you have a chance to invest a little bit of your time, a little bit of your money, and the money actually goes to help me promote and do more work with families and with podcasts and workshops and getting more stories up on the website, all of those things, because it's costing me an arm and a leg. But that's okay. If I'm helping families, that's all I really worry about. That's my main thing. All right, so here is our topic for today. It launched yesterday, was the episode 59. On is our martial arts the right thing for your kid? So my guest Tim B also has his own podcast, and he talks with actual MMA fighters. He talks with promoters. He talks with people who put the whole thing together. He has his own gym that he works with, and he's just a wealth of answers and resources. And so some of the things that we got talking about were things that, you really need to consider as you decide, is this the right thing for my family? And so one of the things that we talked about is that you can start very young, about 3, it depends on the gym, but about 3 you can go with. But then that opens up, well, what kind of gym? So you're going to need to do some research. You want to make sure that the gym is clean, and you want to, this is what I would do, is sit there for maybe a session or 2 and watch not only the coaches, but the other parents who are there. And so what are their attitudes? How do they behave? Are the kids having fun, but are they at the same time learning that there are rules, there's strictness, then they're learning about respect and all of that stuff too. And it's possible to do all of that and have fun if it's the right dojo. We talked about different kinds of martial arts because there's more than I can even name. I know there's karate and kung fu and jujitsu, and there's Japanese something, and there's just all kinds of different martial arts that you can look into. And so I would check some of that out, and I would also take my child with me to see, do you like it here? look at what the kids are doing. Is that something you're interested in doing? One of the things that we discussed and found was that sometimes kids who are a little more aggressive at home or at school, this gives them the chance to work that aggression out. And if they have the right coach for them, and I know that every kid has a different personality, so what's right for one kid may not be right for the next kid. And so keep that in mind. Just because your child has a friend that is going to a gym and they really like it, well, be open-minded, go check it out, look at those things, but then realize that it doesn't mean it's a bad gym if it's not the right one for your kid. It may be exactly right for the others, but not for yours. So keep those things in mind as you're considering, what do I do with my kids, and is this going to be good for them? You might want to look at, sometimes if you have a child that is maybe overly aggressive, or a child that is you know that kid, right? Anyway, that maybe they need someone who's more strict and someone who will, keep them on the rules and yet not be demeaning, but build them up. But still, there are rules. This is what we do. And so those are some things that you might want to consider as you're looking around and deciding if this is right for you. I can tell you, and I shared this on the podcast, is that my son Christian, my police officer son, Mr. ADHD of the world, and we put him in Taekwondo. And I think we needed to maybe do some more research and looking around or whatever. It was just at the community center. It was nice. It was inexpensive, which was the key thing for us. But, and he enjoyed it. He did. But, after the fourth hole in his bedroom door, we kind of pulled him out. And so it makes me wonder what would have happened if we had done more research, done some more searching, and he wound up going into, he played hockey, and he played soccer, and baseball, and football, and those things seem to be a good match for him. So it doesn't mean that, this is the only thing you can do. Another thing we talked about, how Taekwondo or whatever martial art that you're working with can be a year-round sport, or you can take some time off for baseball season or football season or whatever's going on. They might want to do both at the same time. Now, that's something to consider, but I want you to really think about, if you say yes to something, you're always saying no to something else. What is it that you're saying no to? If you get them involved in too many things, and I've seen that happen with families, so they're losing out on family dinners, they're losing out on, one-on-one time with the kids, they're rushing constantly, and homework can become an issue. So really look at all of the picture, the whole thing, and then you're going to look and say, is this something that's right for my family and for my kid? And then go from there. It's nice for them to have them and something to go on, throughout the year, and that's great. And so maybe that's what's right for your family. We also talked about how sometimes, when they're on summer break, or they're on winter or spring break, fall break, all the breaks, but it's about having some place for them to go. Maybe they'll do like a camp for a week, or even just having something for them to look forward to. So Tuesday night is Taekwondo night, or maybe it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Whatever you set up that's right for your family, then you can say, hey, I know it's a little boring right now. We'll play over here, but you got Taekwondo, or you've got karate, or you've got whatever coming up, and I know you're excited to go to that. And so that gives them something to look forward to. So there's a lot of things to consider we also talked about being the parent that your kids need you to be at the gym. And, when he talked about this, my thought was, I think this goes with pretty much anything that you're going to get your kids involved in, is don't just drop them off and, go run a couple errands. I mean, once in a while, if you have to, that's fine. But your kids really look up to you, and they look when they get that, really good kick, or they get this swipe thing in, or they, get to use the stick or whatever. They're looking for you, their parent, and it could be both, one of the parents, whatever, but they are looking to you to say, did you see that? Did you see that I did that? And so I know that my husband came from a good family, great, huge family, bigger than mine. So he's the youngest of 9. And one year he wanted to sign up for Little League Baseball. So they went ahead and signed him up. But with everything else that was going on, he had to get himself to his practices. Of course, we're old. Back then you used to do that. They had to get himself to practices, and they never came to a single game. And he was done. He didn't want to do it anymore after that. And so your participation is so important. And who you are as you are there. Are you looking disappointed or getting angry if they don't complete something to, your expectations? Or are you always going to be that supportive, positive parent? And it's okay to even be a quiet parent, but you're watching. You're not down, checking your cell phone stuff. I'm guilty of that. But you need to not do that and really watch what they're doing. So I know one thing with my mom, I think my brothers were all into, we did track and field, basketball, and football with the boys. And she would go, and especially with track and field and football, because it was outside, and she really liked that. In LA, where we grew up, the weather was nice most of the year. Basketball, she'd go and sit on the bleachers, and she would bring her crocheting, something to keep her busy with. But even though she was doing that, she always watched what was going on. And my mom knew a lot about football. She was just a big football fan and basketball fan. Those were her 2 favorites. And she would, on the way home, talk to them about, I saw you hit that tackle with so-and-so, and I was watching the quarterback, and I saw this play, and this kid wasn't following through, and how could you have helped the team when something like that happens? And do you have a plan? What does your coach say? And so she was really engaged in talking to them about what was going on, either at their game or at their practice. So she was there. And it was nice because all the younger kids, were off running around being crazy and doing what little kids do in an open space when the weather's nice. And so it was really good for everybody, even with our large family. Again, I'm the oldest of 7. But the 6th one wasn't born until I was the summer before my senior year. So, or the 7th one wasn't. So there was mostly 6 for us on growing up. But you can find a way to make it all happen if that's what you want to do. But be sure that you're being the parent you need to be, that your child needs you to be. And we even talked about that, where on his podcast, he was talking to someone who'd been a fighter but now was coaching, and he asked her about, what do you do if you have a parent that is yelling at the kids or getting hard on the kids and whatever? And she said, I address it right away. And I just tell them there's no place for this here. And if you want to sit down and support your kid, that's great. But we're not making this into a competition or or you're being critical of the kid. She says, when we're here, I get to be the coach. You get to be mom, or you get to be dad. And really steps it up, because that's something that can spread throughout the parents. And so if one parent is getting away with being belligerent, being angry, being whatever, and the coach or the sensei doesn't address it, then it can easily spread to other parents and become a very negative place. And so we don't want that to happen. And so that's interesting is if when you're going and just looking at places that you might want to have your child be involved in, and watch for that, and watch if you see a parent that is being, how is that handled? How is that dealt with? And so you can go ahead on things like that. And one other thing I want to cover, because I think it's really important, is I think when the kids, first off, when they're little, they're going to compete and have fun and learn basic skills when they're small, and they'll all be together. But then as they grow older, they're going to be separated by skill, not by age. And so you might have a 10-year-old that is very skilled and doing well with a 16-year-old, or with an adult that's, just decided, oh, I want to learn that, and they're coming on. And so they're going to be making relationships and learning how to show respect, how to talk, how to coach, because they're helping one another, how to watch out for someone else that is not their age, that may be younger than them or older than them, significantly older than them. And that is great for social skills. Think about how that fits with the workforce as they get older and when they're in college, and all of those things that go on in their lives as they grow. This can be a great piece for them. So go ahead and listen to it. And it's episode 59 of Imperfect Heroes on the podcast. And it's called Are Martial Arts Right for Your Kids? With Tim B. He was fabulous. I really loved the way that he spoke and was able to address concerns, even though he will even work with professional MMA fighters and in talking to them and organizing everything. He was also able to talk so basically about the skills and the things that we need for our little guys and what are some of the things to look for. So I hope that you'll listen to that, and don't forget to go in and register for our Cicerone Society. If you remember, a Cicerone is someone who is a tour guide, who is an expert, who is able to teach, and that's what we are for our kids. And that's the society we want to be in. So I look forward to seeing you. If you need any help, you can always go just to the website, www.littleheartsacademyusa.com, and you can find everything you need there. And until next week, let's find joy in parenting. Bye-bye, everyone. Oh.